So we're going to start off by talking a story that came out from Politico about former U.S. General David Petraeus, former U.S. General, former director of the CIA, and currently an unconvicted war criminal and warmonger. So he had this to say about our withdrawal from Afghanistan. Uh, I fear we will look back and regret the decision to withdraw. That is a direct quote. We will go on from there. One of America's former military commanders in Afghanistan said Sunday that the situation there is falling apart even before the United States completes its withdrawal from the embattled Asian nation. Speaking on CNN's Fareed Zakaria GPS, General David Petraeus said, the situation on the ground has become increasingly dire with each passing week. Earlier this year, President Joe Biden announced that the U.S. troops would be withdrawn from Afghanistan, and he recently moved up the date of the final departure. Biden's efforts to end the longest U.S. war in history, something that former President Donald Trump advocated but was unable to complete, have drawn a range of responses from praise to tired resignation to dismay, particularly from those who fought and led the war. I can only imagine why. Imagine this. Imagine that you based your name, reputation, and career all on an illegal conflict that killed a countless number of civilians. Now, how would you feel if somebody said that you were wrong? That what you did was immoral and then unethical and just wrong? I'm sure that if you had a major part in that, you would defend that position no matter what evidence to the contrary came against it. We will continue. I fear we'll look back and regret this decision to withdraw. This is a direct quote from General Petraeus, former General Petraeus. Sadly, we may regret that sooner than I had originally thought when I had said that right after the decision was announced. He retired from the Army to become director of the CIA in 2011, but he retired shortly afterwards because he was caught in an affair where he spilled national secrets to his lover uh, during pillow talk. Because this man has great decision-making skills. This is why we should believe when he says that it is a bad decision to get out of Afghanistan, that we will regret the decision. Um, but he continues to say, beyond that, I think we will also look back and regret the hasty way in which we seem to be doing this. Regret. Now, hasty is such a bad word because we've been in this war for about 20 years. Um, so this should have been done a long time ago. But regret is such a strong word, I do believe, because now regret. I regret a lot of things. I've made some horrible decisions in my life for myself personally. Now, and people that I've hurt. Now, with regret, what do I regret? I think what we should possibly regret is the almost 2,500 American lives that have been lost in this war in Afghanistan. Maybe. Maybe it should be something we should regret. Or maybe the uh, 65,000 Afghani soldiers that have died since we've been involved in this conflict. Maybe that's something we should regret. Or maybe the countless number of civilian lives that have been lost in this war since our involvement in it. Now, those are things I would regret. Lives lost would be the number one thing I would regret. Now, on top of that, if you want to talk about it in a different way, what about the $2 trillion that we've spent over these many years in Afghanistan? 2 trillion. That's with a T, just so you guys, I make sure. Sometimes I don't enunciate super well, but that is $2 trillion that we spent in Afghanistan. Maybe we should regret that. Maybe we should regret that, money we could have spent on infrastructure, Medicare for all, free college, feeding the homeless, anything, lots of things. You know, we were sitting here and debating about there's going to be, I'm going to talk a lot about a bill, budget bill that's coming, but we don't ever talk about the budget when it comes to $2 trillion being spent in Afghanistan. So the General Petraeus goes on to say the Afghan National Security Forces have been fighting and dying in very large numbers, and they still are. The problem now is that they're not sure if someone is coming to the rescue, and that injects a very considerable amount of uncertainty into the battlefield. Now, this is where it kind of goes into America playing superhero. Why is it our job? Just like the other day with this Cuba situation, why is it our job to be America's police, to be America's protector, or to be the world's police, to be the world's protector? Why is that America's job? I don't believe that it is. I think we should probably worry about protecting ourselves. We should worry about parts of Michigan not having clean water. Instead of, I'm not unsympathetic to the plight of the Afghani people, but we have to realize that there's a lot of problems going on at home, and the money and time and lives that we've spent in other countries has not helped the situation we have here. He goes on to say, no one wants to see endless wars ended more than those who have actually served in them. But we are not ending this war, we are ending U.S. involvement in it, and that is the whole point. We are ending this war for us. The Afghanistan is called the graveyard of empires for a reason. The wars that have been fought there will be fought there and continue to be fought in the Middle East until the end of time. There's too much bad blood, there's too much history, there's too much political and religious ideology wrapped up in that in those environments. For it to ever, I think, ever truly have stability, unfortunately. That's just a fact. And if it is to have stability, it will be from the inside, and it will not be from help from outside countries. That's just causing more strife and pain. He says, what I see now, sadly, is the onset of what is going to be quite a brutal civil war. I agree with that. It is definitely going to be harsh for the Iraqi people, or for the Afghanistan people. I'm sorry. And but that we could be there until 2025, 2030, 2035, 2040. It doesn't matter. When the second we leave, it's going to happen. It's like tearing a band-aid off. Might as well get it done quick. Does that sound callous? I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel about it. So to prove that that David Petraeus has been wrong about almost everything forever, we'll look at this another article where after the Afghanistan documents revealed massive failures since the beginning of the war. He had this to say, we clearly reversed the momentum on the battlefield of the Taliban, who had been steadily taking districts from our forces and the Afghans for several years prior to 2010. And this is when he was talking about when he commanded the U.S. forces from July 2010 to July of 2011. And again, the claims he made were that it's indisputable that they reversed the momentum on the battlefield. Now, I want to ask this: if it is clearly indisputable that you reverse the momentum, why is it that the second we decide to start leaving, everything goes to shit? If you push back the Taliban that hard in Afghanistan, why is it that the second we think about leaving, they're already like wolves at the door? Is it because they weren't really pushed back? Is it because we never had control over the situation? Because this is either a lie or it's ignorance. And I choose to believe that it is a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. I don't believe, you know, that there was, as he says right here, undeniable progress on the security front. I stand by what I told Congress and the national security team at that time. So he was wrong about that. He was wrong about Afghanistan. And what else was he wrong about? Oh, let us look right here. He was also wrong about the Iraq war, another illegal war, another waste of money, another waste of lives. And here's what he had to say about the Iraq war. I think everybody, General Petraeus, quote, I think everybody who is in Iraq, who served there, who knows the sacrifices entails, who knows the cost in blood and in treasure, has been frustrated to see that the country slid back after we left in late 2011. At the end of the day, I think we also have a degree of pride to know that when our country needed us, we answered the call. Now, this is for an illegal war for a country that did not attack us. Iraq never attacked us. They did not attack us in 2001. They did not attack us in 9/11. That's just the fact of the matter. And 20 years later, people like David Petraeus are still giving you that lie and still trying to make it okay that he is a war criminal, that he perpetrated and led a war against people that did not attack us, and that was not approved by Congress. And him, Bush, Cheney, Colin Powell, all of them are war criminals. And I'm sure a bunch of other people that I don't know their names off the top of my head. And again, it's funny that he says, no, it's frustrating to see that we slid back. They slid back after we left, and that is just something you have to accept. I bet if it was up to him, he would have never left Iraq. Just like he would never leave Afghanistan. This man wants perpetual war. And then he wants to lie about it. He in a quote, we certainly did that to the best of our ability. The accomplishments during the surge, particularly in Iraq, were truly historic. If you think about driving violence by some 85% and bringing a country back together, then been the verge of an all-out civil war. And then as soon as we left, they were in a civil war. We didn't do anything but kill our own troops, kill civilians, and stop the inevitable, prolong the inevitable. And it just drives me insane. David Petraeus, war criminal, warmonger, and overall idiot.